I have no option but to resign from the office of Premier.
It's not a model that we've ever contemplated going at a federal level. I'm sure there are millions of people who've seen what's happened to Gladys Berejiklian and will understand that that's a pretty good call not to follow that model.
An ICAC out of control means that the bureaucracy reigns supreme and politicians are basically terrified to do their job.
Political shockwaves elsewhere in the country often reverberate in Canberra, and even as new revelations emerged from ICAC hearings in Sydney today, the issues of dealing with corruption, breaches of public trust and of ministerial codes of conduct were under discussion in the federal parliament.
We're seeing what's happening in New South Wales, we're seeing what's happening in Victoria. There's no reason to think, or there's no logical explanation as to why that wouldn't be the case at the federal domain. We have to deal with this.
The issue of a Federal Integrity Commission has been on the table since before the last election, when Prime Minister Scott Morrison and the then Attorney-General proposed a body which was roundly criticised from the start.
This is not a show trial body.
This afternoon, Christian Porter found his own behaviour under parliamentary scrutiny. The Speaker of the House had been asked to consider whether the mystery surrounding a blind trust funding up to $1 million of Mr Porter's legal bills in a defamation action against the ABC needed to be referred to the powerful Privileges Committee.
Based on my careful consideration of all of the information available to me, I am satisfied that a prima facie case has been made out.
I'm not wanting members opposite to feel that they are being asked to adjudicate on the member for Pearce himself. But they are in a situation where the Speaker, elected unopposed, has said that there is a prima facie case here.
The Speaker, though, was not to be unopposed much longer. For the first time since Federation, the federal government used its numbers in the House to block the Speaker's finding of a prima facie case against a member and his call for a motion for the House to give precedence to referring the matter to the Privileges Committee, the only body capable of censuring or punishing a sitting parliamentarian. The Leader of the House, Peter Dutton, argued the referral wasn't necessary because he had already written to the Chair of the Privileges Committee asking him to consider the question of donations of legal fees.
I think it's a workplace entitlement issue, and I think it's a broader discussion that should be had. And for the reasons I've detailed today, Mr Speaker, the government is not going to support the motion that's before the House.
The result of the division is ayes 52, noes 49.
The member for Isaac just accused exiting ministers of taking a bribe.
He just voted that we'll never find out if someone's
The Manager
bribed.
of Opposition Business
That's how
will
he
resume
voted.
his seat.
These developments in the House this afternoon only further highlighted the issues at stake in the various models of a Federal Integrity Commission. The Integrity Commission being proposed by the government would not be required to investigate conflicts of interest with public duties, integrity or ministerial standards, only criminal conduct. Politicians would not be subjected to the same standards of integrity as public servants. There would be no public hearings. In a comprehensive review of the body last month, the Centre for Public Integrity also argued its powers would be too weak to investigate controversies like the so-called sports rort scandal.
What the government is proposing as a watchdog is a watchdog that has no teeth. It's got a bung ear, it's got one eye and a limp, and is on a very short leash.
Senator Patrick, you have the call.
Thank you, Mr President.
In the Senate late this afternoon, Rex Patrick introduced a bill to establish a very different federal integrity body, based on a proposal originally put up by independent MP Helen Haines.
It has the powers of a standing royal commission. It has the capacity to look backwards as well as in present time.
Crossbenchers often put up their own bills with little chance of getting the support of the major parties for them to even be debated. But with integrity and transparency issues being so prominent in the national discussion this year, and criticisms of the government's model by some of its own backbench, the temperature has risen considerably.
I think it would be neater and more logical and coherent if we have a single coverage of all federal government and federal parliamentarians.
Dave Sharma is just one of several Liberal MPs to express disquiet about various aspects of the government's legislation.
I'm very optimistic that my bill will pass the Senate. I've asked the Prime Minister directly if he would give instruction to the Leader of the House to allow me to debate the bill, and he's told me that he won't.
Haines says that discussion took place just this morning, but it isn't necessarily the end of the road.
it would only take one or two members on the government side to stand up and walk across the aisle, and the debate would be on. Anything can happen, Laura.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.